Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 19 of the KISS Army Nation podcast. We are your hosts, Pasquale Veri.
And I'm Claudio Spera. Nice to see you guys again.
Now, notice we made a small change to the intro. None of the I am your host, his is my co-host. Because Claudio, I want you to know, I want our audience to know, I think it's really important that our listeners know that Claudio and I are equals on this podcast. And it's equally important to acknowledge everything that he does in helping to create a product that we can both be proud of. And I hope that our listeners enjoy this podcast as much as we enjoy doing this. So Claudio, once again, I am so happy to have you on the show.
Thank you so much, Pasq. So, many thanks for your kind words. It's a true honor for me to be part of this podcast, and I can assure everybody that both of us are doing our very best to develop this product, to make it informative, entertaining, and most of all, fun. So thanks again, Pasq, to consider, my contribution to the podcast.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's a team effort. It's just not you and me, but there's so many other people involved in making a quality product. And that's why, I want to acknowledge a few people who continue to help us create this product.
Absolutely. So one of them, for instance, which is a huge contributor to the product, it's Alexander Talkington of Sander Graphics, for all the amazing graphics that he provides for the show and for the promos that we do all the time. So Alex, kudos, man. Thank you so much for your help.
And we also partnered up with Click T-Shop, and they produced a high-quality KISS Army Nation T-shirt, podcast T-shirt, which I think is amazing. I'm wearing one right now. Super
so nice.
Soft, super comfortable. The graphics look great, again, from Alex Talkington. So kudos to clicktshop.com.
There you go. I can't wait to have mine. So hopefully, and during the next episode, I'm going to start wearing mine. So that's a beautiful shirt. And also we have, close friends and people who actually were part of discussion panels like Patrick de Montigny, Craig Payton, and Rolla Brown. So thank you again, guys, for appearing as panel guests in our discussion panel episodes, which actually they had really nice reviews from everybody. So everybody seems to be enjoying, the discussion panels. So there's more to come. So thanks again, Pat, Craig, and Rolla. Thank you so much.
And especially Rolla, the last two times she was a guest, I asked her very last second, can you be on the show? And without hesitation, absolutely. We definitely have to have her back on. Absolutely. This podcast also is a learning process. And I want to thank Matt Porter, Ken Mills, and Cameron Duty for sharing their wisdom with us.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. And of course, all the guests who appeared on our show to date. So there's been many. And we have, all the time we enjoyed so much, even when, all the episodes when Andy was there, part of the show, it was so great to have you all there. So thank you so much for being part of the show too.
Oh, absolutely. And also thank Andy for his contribution to the podcast as well. After his leaving, I had a lot of messages from people saying, we love Claudio. He's doing a fantastic job. And they really miss Andy's, sense of humor on the show and his unpredictability on the show, So, Andy, thanks again for everything you've done for the show.
Absolutely.
And finally, we want to thank all of you, our listeners, for continuing to support our podcast. Now, for today's episode, we have no guests. It's just Claudio and I. And we're going to discuss something called collector's fatigue. Now, what is that exactly? Well, ask yourself, for those collectors out there, why do you collect? When do you happen to collect? What do you collect? Do we collect for emotional fulfillment? And when do we say enough is enough? It's just too much. So I want to start this conversation by starting with you, Claudio. Tell us about your collection. What are some of the pieces that you own, and what are some of your most prized possessions?
Okay, so first of all, let me say that this is a great topic, and I don't know if we're going to be able to make it in 1 hour, but we'll try. We'll try
Yeah,
hard.
tell me about it.
So yeah, so I guess you're going to agree with me, Paz, that with a band like KISS, a collection is never big enough. Okay, so my collection mainly consists of merch that I really like. I usually do not buy everything that it's out there. I really have to have this kind of connection with an item. Okay, so I'm pretty much into books. Lots of magazines, tour books. I'm into the graphic stuff. I love the imaging and the formatting of the tour books and everything. Then I have also action figures. I have figurines. I have posters, many posters, as you can see. Wall art. I like decorating my house and my cave with lots of different, arts and lithographs and all that kind of stuff. And, well, tons of T-shirts, apparel also. I can say that to answer to your second question, the most prized possessions, I have to say, are the photos with the members of the band. So those were unique moments. So to me, an item has to have a connection with a specific moment in my life. Okay. So every time I look at the pictures, let's say with Paul, Gene, Peter in the cruise, whatever, it brings so many good memories to me that it makes me so happy. So that's why they are special. Then I have some, old 8-tracks that I love. I have the bubblegum cards from 1977. And then, of course, I keep a special place in my heart for the collection of photos and videos from when I was a kid, when I started collecting. When I was like 9, 10 years old, I remember collecting photos, and I was cutting, pieces from different magazines. So those I keep a special place in my heart for those. So what about you, Pask?
Well, people who know me know that I live in a condo, not a house. So I don't have a KISS cave. I don't have a huge basement to display everything. I have a medium-sized bedroom dedicated to my collection. So it's my KISS room. And I've been collecting basically seriously since 1995. Haven't stopped. I started collecting back in the 70s, though we'll talk about that later. But basically, I started collecting everything with the KISS logo on it. I especially like the magazines, the posters. I love the action figures. I have almost all of the action figures, not all of the variants, but I have a lot of the action figures, a lot of the toys. Anything ridiculous, I've got. Walking into the store and spending $350 on Hello Kitty KISS merch was ridiculous.
Oh my
But
goodness.
I loved it. And, I even bought Hello Kitty toilet paper, Hello Kitty KISS posters. I even have a KISS urn, KISS condoms, everything under the sun. But it's just lately I've been more selective in terms of what I want to collect. And at one point it was specifically just comic books. So now I have a huge collection of comic books. T-shirts always. When I go to a show, I see a T-shirt out in the wild, I buy one. And then I went into more collecting posters. So I really got into collecting posters, specifically the 70s stuff, the late 70s posters. And now I'm on a vinyl binge. And I mean on a binge. That's all I buy are KISS vinyls. And I started maybe at the beginning of the pandemic, so a year and a half ago. And I already have about 150 KISS vinyls.
Oh boy.
And I'm not talking about just the officially released stuff. I got the officially released stuff. I got all of the colored vinyl variants and a lot of bootlegs that you find on eBay or various sites. And, Canadian, it goes for at least minimum, including shipping, which shipping from the US to here is $20 Canadian. I spent about $100 a vinyl. Okay. And I have 150 of them. So do the math, you know.
Boy,
So that's my main focus right now. But for me, my collection has always been a souvenir of my experiences.
Okay.
So my most prized possessions, one is the Gene bass from Kiss Cruise 4. You know, when I did the Gene Simmons meet and greet experience, I met him. He signed it. It was just amazing. The Paul Stanley painting, I got the Karma painting. I went to meet Paul in New Jersey for the gallery. The
gallery, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
so that was just incredible. And we weren't allowed to talk Kiss. We could only talk about his paintings, which was fine by me because it was such an interesting conversation.
Of course.
And I learned that day through Paul that it's his son Evan who has the original copy of the Karma painting up on his wall in his bedroom.
Oh wow! I didn't know that.
Which I think is awesome. And you know, that whole experience made me realize, you know, that Kiss, they're larger than life heroes, but they're people like you and me, you know.
Yeah.
And at the time when he was painting, he was, as we all know, he was going through a divorce. So his painting was cathartic. It was a release of emotions. And I was going through the same thing around the same time. So it was really interesting having this emotional connection between him and I over his work, you know. So definitely one of my prized possessions. And my final one is obviously the Gene Simmons vault.
The vault. Okay.
I
knew he was going to come.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I listen to the entire set. I have it on a USB. Let's do it in the car. Just a beautiful piece. But again, it's a memory of the experience that I had meeting Gene. So, you know, I have a lot of Kiss stuff, and unfortunately, I can't display it because I have such a small room. So a lot of stuff are in bins. And, you know, my girlfriend and I, Brenda, we've been sort of flirting with the idea of moving in together after 7 years, you know. But I thought, you know what? I'm not so sure it's a good idea. If my only reason to move in is to have a huge Kiss cave in the basement, you know.
That's right.
I wish I could really display my collection because it's a lot more impressive than what you see when you come see it at my house. You know.
Well, let me tell you that you know, if you're planning to kind of change or whatever or move, so one of the search criteria has to be to have a huge basement, you know, that you're going to convert it into your Kiss cave. You know, it has to be like that. That's it.
Well, I talked to Brenda. One of the stipulations, if we move in together, is that the Kiss cave is mine. There's no compromise. I do whatever I want with it.
Exactly.
You know?
That's your cave. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's right. Love it, man. So you know, I love your feedback, and I've been to your place, and it's amazing. You know, your room still, you know, it's something unique. And I can't imagine if you're going to display everything that you have, it's going to be mine. It could be a museum. You know, it's awesome. So tell me, Pask, what's the reason? So why and when did you start collecting?
Well, I became a Kiss fan in the late 70s. And like every Kiss fan who was enthralled by the band, I had to have everything Kiss. So at the time, you know, I bought all the records, every magazine I could find, every poster, every toy, you know. But at the time, we didn't have that collector's mentality. We didn't keep it sealed. We actually opened up the products. We actually used the products.
Yes, sir.
I remember I was sharing a bedroom with my two brothers. It was a huge room, but I plastered the entire room with Kiss pictures and Kiss posters, you know? And in order to fill the room, I had to rip pages out of the magazines to post on the wall. It's like, I wish I didn't do that, you know?
Right.
I remember I had the model van, and I actually put it together really badly, but I put it together with a friend of mine. I took out the Kiss dolls. And do you remember the Godzilla, the huge Godzilla the tongue come out of its mouth, right?
Oh yeah, I do remember.
So I used to play Kiss versus Godzilla, and it wasn't pretty. Sometimes, you know, Godzilla was winning the battle, but at the end, of course, Kiss wins. But the wear and tear in those poor dolls, you know. And I used to play them to the soundtrack of The Black Hole, which was
like a Disney serious, man?
In 1979. I was competing with Star Wars, you know. It was nuts. God. In other words, you know, the damage that I did to my collection then was, oh my God,
But it was so much fun, you were
Yes,
happy.
exactly. But in the early '80s, I started to lose interest in KISS for various reasons,
Mhm.
and I sort of got rid of my entire collection.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, and it wasn't until the late '80s when I started to rediscover KISS again that I started to collect, and I started to seriously collect in '95. And I remember the first thing I got was Into the Fire. It was a KISS book called Into the Fire. There's the four members without makeup on the cover.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought it'd be worth money today. It's worthless. It's worth nothing. But that was my first book, and my first big collectible item was Kisstory, the first Kisstory book.
Oh, the book. Okay, yeah.
And that was my first big ticket item. And after I bought that big ticket item, I started to really collect seriously.
And buy back all the stuff that you had sold in the past.
That's exactly right.
Wow.
Exactly right. That was my
Wow.
mission, to buy back everything that I got rid of when I was
What
a kid.
mission
And then-
accomplished, man.
Mission accomplished, and then some. I just never stopped.
Love it. I love it. I love it.
So, what about you? When did it start for you?
I started collecting when I was about 10 years old, around 1979. And it was actually during the Dynasty era, that I first was exposed to KISS. And there's a reason for this, okay? Because some people are going to say, how come, you didn't get to know KISS before 1979? Well, the reason is that I'm originally from Argentina, from Buenos Aires, okay? And at that time, KISS was somehow banned in the country because of the government. So it was the military government at that time, and they were thinking that KISS was a bad influence for young people. Okay, so then that means that I didn't have access to get to know the band or to get exposure to items or even records, right? So you couldn't find too much stuff. Then in 1979, it started to open up. Dynasty was huge in South America, as you know. The same thing that happened in Australia. There's some kind of strange connection between South America and Australia, where actually Dynasty and Unmasked, they were so big. So then I remember watching TV and the videos for I Was Made for Loving You and Sure Know Something, and I was completely hooked. So then I started collecting everything that had the KISS name on it, mainly magazines. We didn't have access to many imports or things coming from the US or even from Canada. But to me, I started collecting because to me, KISS has always been more than music. So collecting was and still is today a way to be closer to the band. It was a way to fulfill my sense of belonging to the KISS Army. We were the underdog, and we talked about this before. So in a country like Argentina in South America, so someone listening to KISS and with the face paint and all the stuff, it was insane. So, but that actually brought me, so the connection to the band was even stronger. And how could you show your loyalty to the band? Buying stuff, okay? So then everything that, and actually today, those items from South America, they have a very high value because they are really hard to find, okay? But yeah, that's the main reason why and when I started collecting.
So, do you continue to collect as much as you did at the beginning, or do you feel like it's beginning to slow down now?
Interesting question, but it's not a constant trend. It goes through different phases, but you're right. Overall, I have to say that it has begun to slow down. What about you?
Yeah, when I was trying to regain my '70s collection, I couldn't stop, and then it just continued snowballing, and snowballing.
Yeah.
But the unfortunate reality is that throughout my collecting career and all my, concerts and expos and KISS cruises, I spent a lot of money. I moved into this condo It must have been 2001. It should have been paid off in full 3 years ago. 3 years ago, okay? And now, 3 years later, I'm right back where I started. I don't mind saying this in public, but it's true. Right back where I started because of all the money I put into the band. I don't regret any of it. Listen, it's all about living. When I die, I can take the money with me,
That's
Somebody else can take my debt, but but it's absolutely worth it. But you know what? I have to make a choice now that I could retire in 10 years, and if I play my cards right, I could have my condo paid off when I retire. So that's my goal, and I can't afford to spend that kind of money anymore. So yes, it has slowed down, but I've also started to lose a little bit of interest in trying and buying everything KISS.
Interesting.
I find that online you tend to get a lot of hype. Every time something new comes up, there's so much hype, and I get excited and I want to buy it. I have to stop that. They came out with the KISS coffee. I almost did it. I just can't.
It was expensive, man.
It was expensive. It was expensive, but 2 years ago, I wouldn't even hesitate. I would have gotten it. The KISS running shoes. I'm sorry. I think they looked awesome.
They do.
I just couldn't do it. Even one pair, I just couldn't do it because if I buy a pair, I'm buying all four. I'm very black and white.
That's the problem we have with KISS also, because everything is multiplied by 4. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. So right now, I'm just buying what I can use, and it's about, like you said, it's about the music. It's about the music. So
that's why you got into the vinyl stuff.
Into the vinyls, and yes, I do open it. I've opened all my vinyls. I put them in plastic. I take care of them. They're nicely stored. But I do open them. I do listen to them, and I take pleasure actually, opening up a KISS item and actually using it. Because if you think about it, collecting makes absolutely no sense because it's the thrill of the hunt, right?
Yes.
So you look for that particular item. Oh my God, I've got it. And then you put it on a shelf, it collects dust, you move on to the next item. I've got stuff in I recently did a picture catalog of my entire collection. So for the first time in years, I got to see my collection again. I got to hold it and touch it. In a sense, experience it because it brought back memories.
Going through each item.
Exactly. So that was amazing. But I can't do that all the time because I can't display it like, for example, you can, So I have to make choices now. I have to say no to certain things. So yeah, it's definitely slowed down. I think it's going to continue at this slower pace. I'm only going to buy what I could afford.
Exactly. There's different times, different priorities too. So, it depends what comes first, It is like that. So do you tend to collect more during certain times and less during others? Let me just ask you, will it ever be enough?
Will collecting ever be enough? Will I ever have enough? Absolutely not.
No.
Do I have to say at one point it is enough? I'm afraid I do. But right now, it's easy to say that because we've been through a year and a half of lockdown. So there wasn't much activity in the KISS world, What really was out there? There was the KISS Dubai, right? Yeah. I bought the package at, was it $250?
Yeah,
I bought that package for sure. Mm-hmm. Hasn't arrived yet, but I bought that package. The off the soundboard vinyl, I got that too. So there's certain things that get hyped up that I get excited about, and yes, I tend to want to get it. So when there's high activity in the KISS world, I tend to buy. When there's less activity, I tend to buy less. And again. For the past year and a half, things have been slow. Let's see what happens when it starts up again, when the shows start up again. When
when they get back on the road. That's right. Yeah,
I better have some money saved up because I have a feeling that I am going to catch up for what we've lost this last year and a half.
Big time. So you start saving now.
I'm trying. And how about you?
Same here. So I go through phases, as I said before. Will it ever be enough? No, it will never be enough, because there's always something that will capture my attention, always, And I'm more into the altcoin era, merchandise, and there are so many things surfacing these days that it's tough to say it's enough. There's always something, a poster, whatever, a different series of cards, the bubble gum or whatever it is, it comes alive. So, and I guess you're gonna agree with me, with all the auction sites that exist today. There was a time when I had to stop, being part of those auctions, because I was in constant, buying mode. I stayed in front of my phone for 3-4 hours, and then I knew that there was going to be something that it was going to kind of ignite again my desire to buy.
Right.
And then, of course, most of the actions are, as you said before, are coming from the US, and the shipping and the exchange rate and blah, blah, blah. So then you end up paying like, I don't know, $300-400. And then, of course, it's a pleasure of having the item, but it cannot continue all the time. So there's ups and downs, definitely. But now that things are slowly getting back on track, I think that I'm going to go on a high again, with the guys when they're going to hit the road, and knowing that the end is coming, that makes it even tougher, so you want to get as much as you can. But I'm sure that once we're going to cover that later on, but there will always be KISS items, to look for, always. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I stayed away from the KISS auctions, because I know once I get started with that,
man.
I'm in trouble.
Man, I'm telling you, man, it's unbelievable.
And I know that once the KISS expos start up again, I'm in trouble, because if I go, there's lots going on at these expos, so a lot of shows, a lot of activities, but I buy, and I don't think I've spent less than $1,000 Canadian at each of these expos, and once you're there, it's like, I have to,
of course. Yeah, you can help it.
No. But listen, I've never been to one of these online auctions. What's the experience like? How does that work exactly?
It is great, man. So I'm telling you, I hope people don't get it wrong. I said that I stopped being part of that because of my finance, but it's great, man. So there's a great bunch of people. There are many different groups, and all of them I had a great experience. You end up being friends with the guys. Of course, there are people who are going through a different phase in their life, and they can't afford anything. There's all kinds of items from all different eras in the history. It's all legit, it's not like counterfeit or whatever. It's a great experience. Of course, there are some sites that are more serious than others, but overall the experience, I have to say, it's great, man. It's always great being surrounded by KISS fans, all under the same passion. And man, I'm telling you, Pas, when you see those items up on the screen, it's very hard, man, to say no. So then, even if you have a budget, you end up paying more because you want to buy the item. You want to win it. You want the item to be yours.
Right.
Even if you want to pay 50, maybe you end up paying 90 because you wanted to win that item. So it's really interesting. Really interesting.
Yeah, there's a psychological term called the foot in the door phenomenon, that once you invest some time in trying to buy something, like bidding on an auction, you invested so much time that you can't say stop.
Of course.
You have to continue and finish that investment.
That's right. And then for us, so you want to kind of amortize the shipment. So then you say, okay, I'm going to buy more items because the shipment is going to be still the same. So then you end up buying like 4 or 5 when originally you were planning to buy only one. But this is the KISS world.
It is. It's a great world to be in, I tell you. So I want to go back to something that we were talking about. The highs and lows in the KISS world, and that sort of is in relation to our buying experiences. But what do you think was going to happen after the end of the road when KISS calls it quits. Do you think that you're going to continue to buy as much merch as you do now?
Yeah, definitely. I think I will continue with the trend because to me, collecting is not strictly linked to the physical existence of the band or the relevance of the band. So to me, collecting is something that is going to last forever. So even if the guys, they hung up and they say, okay, kiss goodbye and blah, 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 I don't see myself stopping collecting. To me, it will always be there. What do you think? What's your opinion?
Again, I have so much. Do I need to buy more? So I think that, yeah, I'm going to continue to collect even after the end of the road. But I think, again, I'm going to be more choosy in terms of what I
more picky.
What I choose. Is that even a word? More picky in terms of what I choose to buy. I have a feeling I'm going to continue buying vinyl for a very long time, and the odd thing here and there. But a lot of the toys and the comics and stuff I probably won't get. I probably want to continue to focus on buying the O'Coin era 70s merch for sure. That's never going to stop. But my holy grail is the KISS pinball machine. Last time I saw it available in Montreal on Marketplace, and I was leaving for Cocoa Beach with the school, and I had to basically make the purchase, and I had to wait till after I got back. It was a little messy, and the dealer wasn't sort of trusting, so he wasn't really answering me back quick enough. But I was serious, and then he comes back to me with a higher price, and he was asking. He's like, "Okay, give me a bit more. I'm not gonna fall for that, It
was not meant to be.
But there was a fan who bought it. I believe his name is Giancarlo. I'm sorry if I get his name wrong, but I saw him at my KISS pre-party here in LaSalle in 2019, and he told me about the pinball machine that he bought that should have been mine. I was like, oh, wow.
You met the guy who got it from you.
Yeah, that's how small this world is,
Oh, my goodness.
So I will buy. Anything else, I will probably slow down and enjoy what I have right now.
Okay. So do you ever see yourself ever selling your collection?
I made that mistake sort of twice. One was destroying my collection back in the 70s. Big mistake. And then, I believe it was in early 2000. It was around my divorce. I started to really have some money troubles, and I thought I have to make my credit card payments. I have to make I'm not keeping up with the payments. So I sold some KISS stuff. Now I only sold about 400. It's like, oh, what am I doing? And it's like, I don't care about my debts. I cannot sell this stuff. And then it happened again. I had to regain the stuff that I sold. and I actually paid more than what I sold it for, because it gained more value when I was able to get it. It's like, okay, never again.
Okay, lessons learned.
Exactly. But I also realized that my collection, as stupid as this sounds, my collection is my anchor. It's my salvation. It's my one of the reasons for living, for having the life that I so enjoy. And no matter how bad things get in my life, I always have something positive to go to, and it's all around me. So when I see my collection around me, it reminds me of what a great life I have and what great experiences I've had. And,
awesome.
I was saying that my collection, was in the KISS room, and I've sort of packed it in. And my goal when I first bought my condo was to keep it in the room. It started to expand throughout the condo now. And you've seen it, right? You've seen it. It's in the washroom, it's in the living room, it's in the bedroom, it's everywhere,
That's right.
The point is, it's all around me, and I need it to be around it all the time. When I come back from work, I had a difficult day. I come back home to my sanctuary, and I just look at my KISS stuff, and I think back at all the amazing experiences and memories that I have. You can't buy that. You just cannot buy that.
No.
So I absolutely will not sell my collection, but it's cliche. You can't take it with you when you die.
Yeah.
So I still, exactly. So I still have to do it. I was thinking about doing it this summer. I want to write up my will, and I want to contact the Shriners Hospital here in Montreal. And the idea is that I want to give my collection to somebody that will ensure, that I can ensure will sell it to somebody. And I want the money to go, 100% of the money to go towards the Children's Hospital. That's awesome. That's my goal.
That's great, man. That's great. That's really cool.
Now, do I have to ask you? Are you going to sell your collection?
No, never, man. So no, not really. I don't see myself selling my collection, and for the same reasons that you just mentioned. You know, I might sell some duplicates that I possess, but actually I will keep at least a sample of each item for as long as I'm alive. And same thing, man. So to me, when it's a bad day, something happens, I go down to my basement and I put some music on and I start looking around, and the day changes, man. It's unbelievable. So then you don't care how much money you spend, because it makes you feel good, you know. So you don't think of the financial, you know, impact or whatever, you know. It just brings you joy, and it doesn't ask anything in return. You know, these guys, you know, that we were hooked for life with KISS. They're not pushing us to buy. So we buy stuff because we love it. You know, it's that's why, you know, we can get into discussion whether or not all of the items are great, you know, quality, whatever, what they represent. Hey, they're not pushing you to buy. You buy it if you want it, you know, and you can select. You can go into vinyl, you can go into figurines, you can go into magazines. There's all kinds. So the thing that, you know, the fact that KISS came up with a KISS casket or condoms, it doesn't mean that you have to buy it. You just buy it if you want. So to me, you know, I would never sell my collection. And in the case of, you know, that's a great gesture. You know, what you just mentioned about, you know, passing your collection, you know, and donating to the hospital. In my case, you know, I haven't thought about it, man. It's like sometimes I don't want to think about it. You know, what's going to happen when I'm going to be gone. Most likely, you know, my son, my daughter, they're KISS fans, not huge KISS fans as we are, but I'll see if I pass it on to them. But if I do, I hope that they're going to appreciate what they have, because, you know, I hope that when they look at stuff when I'm gone, they're going to see me, okay? Because that's me. So that's what it is to me, you know?
Strange question, but did you have that talk with your kids about what happens to your collection after you're gone? No. That'd be a difficult conversation, wouldn't it?
Yes. No, I wasn't able to.
Yeah, understandable. Now, you remember last week we had that conversation with that interview with John Downs, and
yes,
it was so impressive that he gave his collection.
Yeah.
You know, to the Smithsonian, to you know, would you do that? Would you give away your collection like that?
Yeah. I would love, you know, to kind of put my collection somewhere where other people can enjoy it. You know, that to me, that's a way of continuing with life, you know, of the items, instead of being, you know, stuck in a box or whatever. So the fact that other people can see the legacy of the band by going through your items, or those items that once they were yours, but now they're public, I think it's a great move, man. I love it. I think I could do it. Would you do it?
I was thinking about that ever since that interview with John, and I wouldn't do it right now. But I think, you know, when I get a little bit older, I'm 53, maybe in my mid 60s, maybe if my health isn't great, maybe I won't want to wait till I pass to sell my collection and give the money to children's charities. Maybe I'll do it sooner. I don't know. That's something I thought about. Maybe I want to be alive to to see what happiness and joy my collection brings to these kids.
Exactly. Yes.
So yeah, John made me think about that, it's a possibility. I'll probably keep my prized possessions, things that I really have a connection with. The vault and the base and all the signed stuff that I have. That stuff I will keep, and again, that I could sell when I pass, and not me, but someone else can sell when I pass, and that money can be given to charity. But yeah,
it is an interesting idea.
Yeah, John made me think, man. He made me think.
Yeah.
Again, maybe in my late 60s, I would.
Well, we're not there yet, so let's keep enjoying our collection for now. We're not there yet.
Exactly. So that begs the question. We're not willing to sell it. We're not willing to donate, at least not right now. Why is it so important to have this collection? Do we actually sort of like psychologically or emotionally need it?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think in my case, I really need this collection because this is part of who I am. So when I'm, as I said before, when I'm in my KISS room or going through my items like you did when you were cataloging stuff, I'm happy 100%, man. So I find myself that I'm happy. So the same thing happened to me when I was in the cruise, surrounded by everything KISS. I find myself being, at the top of my happiness. So, it brings so many good memories and fantastic moments in my life that I cannot imagine living without it. So it becomes a need, it becomes a need. It's not just a kind of a pleasure or something temporary. No, I really need it. And I bet it's the same for you.
Yeah, I'm going to get a little personal, and I'm going to say something that I haven't even told Brenda. Listen, Brenda and I have been going out for over 7 years now, and I'm telling you, I couldn't be happier. Even after 7 years, I could honestly say that when I don't see her, I miss her. And when I see her again, I'm excited to see her, But I just can't make that move to moving in. And people seem to think that, and we get judged all the time. And people actually have told us that you're not in a real relationship because you're not living together. I know people who are married and aren't in a real relationship because because the loyalty, the trust is not there. We have that in abundance. But, I had to ask myself, why? Again, it has nothing to do with her. It's because, I went through a lot as a kid. I went through a lot during my divorce. And when I bought this condo, at a time when my life was really in flux. And this condo became my anchor to my sanity, in a sense, and I don't want to leave. I'm afraid. Not that I don't want to leave. I'm saying it now in public. If Brenda sees this, she'll finally know. I'm afraid. I will never admit it to her that I'm afraid. I always put on this air of confidence and fearlessness. Not true. I'm afraid. I'm afraid of letting go of that anchor and going off to life without a net, and that net being my place. And my collection is a part of that. It's linked to this condo. It's linked to I've been a KISS fan for more years than I could remember. I'm 53. I became a fan at 8 years old. And, friends, family, relationships have come and gone in my life. The one constant is KISS. And for the past 20 years that I've been living here, this condo, my home, my sanctuary, my collection that's around me all the time has become my anchor in life. So I'm afraid of selling it. I'm afraid of selling the condo. I'm afraid of moving out because it's my anchor. So do I need it on a psychological level? Absolutely. Is Brenda and I going to have a talk after this podcast? I have a feeling.
Of course.
We are. But yeah, that is the absolute truth.
Let me just say, if I can interject, if I may. So I've known you for many years now, and I had the pleasure to actually meet Brenda, and you can feel the love, between the two of you, and I know the love that you have for KISS and your place, but uh, I guess you can recreate your home anywhere you want. So it doesn't have to be strictly related to the address that you have in your place now. So if you have what you need, next to you, which is, Brenda, your KISS stuff, your passion, your friends, the kind of person that you are, you can create home anywhere you want, my friend. So those are, of course, there's fear. There's kind of sometimes you don't feel like secure or something. But hey, I think it's worth taking the risk, because you can create your kingdom anywhere you want, anywhere you want. That's all I can say, man. Because
Yeah.
I know you guys, and it's I know it's not easy, and it's very personal, and I fully respect that. But I can say that I have no doubt that you can actually create your best place. It doesn't matter what address you have. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, definitely something to ponder. And
That's right.
we've been flirting with the idea of maybe moving to Ontario after I retire. But that's easy to talk about because I'm retiring in 10 years. That's a lifetime away. But come 10 years from now,
It comes fast, man. It comes fast.
It goes quickly. It goes quickly.
That's right. That's right. Cool.
So
Hey, now let me just go through a tough question, to kind of help summarize everything that we talked about. It's a simple one, but at the same time, it's tough to answer. So, do you have collector's fatigue, which is the topic of this great talk? So, do you have collector's fatigue?
collector's fatigue. That's interesting because you mentioned it earlier on. You sort of associate buying KISS stuff with your loyalty for the band.
Yeah.
Right? So and it's ridiculous. It's a complete marketing scheme. I know.
I know. Me too.
And because KISS has 4 members, you buy 4 of everything, and because albums have color variants, you buy 4 of everything. But yes, my loyalty to KISS, I have to admit, is linked to buying. It's linked to my KISS related activities. So I feel that it's just going to be so stupid coming out of my mouth. I feel like less of a KISS fan if I don't buy a particular item, or I don't have a particular item, or
Okay.
I'm not going to a particular expo or a concert close by. Gene said it in the A&E documentaries. He's like a shark, and he needs to continue to move forward, or he's going to die. It's the same idea here.
Yeah.
I feel that, again, I've often said it during this podcast, that KISS, in a sense, is my crutch, my anchor, and to continue to serve, to be loyal to that, I need to continue to move forward in my KISSdom. And I need to continue to buy, continue to listen to records, continue to talk KISS, and that's why this podcast is so important to me, because it's another avenue to talk to KISS with other KISS fans.
Right.
And it was so needed during the pandemic. And Andy put it best. You should have done this a long time ago. I should have. I just wasn't ready till now. Because now was the breaking point. I feel like I was losing touch with the KISS community. And this podcast was the way of doing that. So I am never going to get tired of the band. But just because I may slow down in collecting, and yes, I have started to slow down. Yes, I am having collector's fatigue because I have to say enough is enough. I have to be more picky in what I buy, but I have to get it out of my head that is connected to how big a fan I am.
Yeah, you
because
should.
just because
Yeah.
you have a big collection doesn't mean you're a big fan.
It has
Just
nothing to
because
do.
you have nothing in a collect, you have no collection,
Yeah.
that you're not a fan. It's
Yeah.
not related to how many KISS cruises you've been to, what you
No, no,
own.
no.
It's about what's
No.
in here,
Yeah.
what's in your heart,
Yeah,
and what
yeah, yeah.
experiences and pleasures that KISS has brought to you in your life.
Absolutely.
So that will
Yeah.
never stop. I will never ever get tired of KISS. It's like getting tired of living. It's not going to happen. It's not.
Yeah,
gonna
let me
happen.
put it this way: if you ever sold your collection, you could still be a huge KISS fan, and the passion will always be there, and your friends will always be there, and we could have this podcast without having a collection, but it goes, as I said, it goes through phases, and I guess that these guys, KISS, they did a fantastic job getting our brainwashed, big time, just to make us think that we need to buy everything, to be loyal to the band. It's tough, man. It's tough. It is tough.
But to answer that question, I guess I'm being a hypocrite, because if I sell my stuff, it doesn't make me any less of a KISS fan. Yeah, I think it would. I think if I sold my KISS stuff now, I think after everything I just said, and that just shows intellectually I understand, but emotionally it's a different ballgame, and I can't hide from how I truly feel. So yeah, I think if I sold my stuff, I would feel less of a KISS fan. Listen, I'm also into Iron Maiden, right? And I refuse to wear an Iron Maiden t-shirt, and they have amazing designs. I want to wear one, but I feel like I can't, because that's not part of my identity.
That's right. It's a betrayal.
It's a betrayal. I'm cheating on my girlfriend. It's crazy. But you have to understand, this idea has been instilled in me since I was 8 years old. I cannot and will not unlearn that.
No. With KISS, it's interesting, because once you're hooked for life, and it's very hard to disconnect. You can go through different phases where kind of you're not interested in the band, but then you always come back, and you always take a look at the magazines, and you always put the record on. It's very unique. It's very unique. But you said something that is really cool. So it's the emotional stuff. You can sell your stuff out, but then how are you going to feel? That's the thing.
Exactly.
In my case, if the question is, do you have collector's fatigue? I would say no. Okay, but I have to admit that there are times when I need to disconnect of this need to acquire more stuff, because it's kind of invading me. It's like, why do I have this feeling that I need to buy? Just to feel good. So, but then of course, a minute later, I see something that ignites, that desire to get on board again. But I haven't experienced yet this collector's fatigue, because there's a difference to what you just said. I can manage, emotionally and intellectually, the fact that I consider myself to be a KISS fan. I don't know how big, huge or whatever, die hard. I don't know. I'm a KISS fan. I love KISS, but I do not feel the necessity of buying more stuff to actually consider myself, a real KISS fan. You know what I mean? I have a lot of stuff, but as we said before, it's never enough. You can always get more. You can always get more. And maybe one of the reasons why I kind of disconnected from this auction, because it was giving me a lot of frustration, because I was thinking I should buy this. I really need this. And then I was thinking to myself, no, I don't really need this. It would be nice to have it, but it's not a need. You know what I mean? Oh my God, this is so funny. So much fun. So all I can say, Pask, is that we're wrapping up, and it was so much fun, to share this episode with you. And let me just say that to me, any collection is the best collection you can ever have. Okay, so it's about having what makes you happy, having whatever has an emotional connection to you. And to me, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. And when I say quality, it's how it affects your life. To me, that's what it counts.
I think that's an excellent summary of this entire episode, which was actually emotionally draining.
Yes, of course, man. Now we're going to go and buy online.
Absolutely. And yeah, I totally agree with you. And I got to say also that it's really amazing being a KISS fan. The band has afforded us with so many once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, something that we brought up constantly in our podcasts. KISS has really enriched my life. But, it doesn't have to be KISS. Be it KISS or whatever interests you. I believe that everybody needs to find that passion, something that interests them, and they need to live it to the fullest and without compromise. I can't imagine a life without a passion. And that's what KISS brings to us.
Well said. Exactly.
So having said that, to the KISS Army, thank you so much for listening. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. And remember, never stop collecting. I mean, never stop rocking.
Never stop rocking. Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone. The KISS Army Nation podcast has partnered up with Click T-Shop to offer our listeners a high-quality T-shirt with graphic design by Xander Graphics. Check out Click T-Shop at clickteeshop.com.